Up next, Alan Parker's epic film about Japanese Americans being incarcerated in detention camps during World War II. Dennis Quaid and Tamlyn Tomita star in Come See the Paradise.
If only we knew where we're going.
Okay.
Why are the blinds down?
So we won't know where we're going.
That's a scene from Come See the Paradise, a well-meaning, possibly too well-meaning epic melodrama about a dark chapter in American history when many Japanese Americans were placed in internment camps during World War II, ostensibly to protect against Asian espionage and terrorism while we were at war against Japan. But many have argued that both racism and economic reprisals were really at work too, because Japanese property was seized and because German Americans were not similarly interred to the same degree. Dennis Quaid plays our Caucasian guide in this story. We always get one with a story about people of another color. A pro-labor Irish-American who falls in love with a Japanese-American woman named Lily, played by Tamlyn Tomita.
Can I kiss you?
Their relationship is torn apart when she is forced to relocate with her family, and here they decide what to take with them to the camp.
What are we going to do with these old records? They're all Japanese. No one's going to buy them.
Break them.
Break them?
Sure. Break them.
The camp life is no picnic, as fear of the future frightens Lily's younger brother.
Do you think they'll shoot us?
No, of course not.
Do you think they'll send us back to Japan?
I don't know. I truly don't know, Frankie.
I've never been to Japan.
This noble movie moves along in an utterly predictable fashion. I wish I had been able to spend more time with the Japanese characters talking about real issues than with your standard white character, when these sorts of things exist to validate the pain and subvert us from thinking that the story is too ethnic. Of course, it's that kind of racial thinking that in part allows internment camps to flourish. And I really think that pictures, Roger, I wish we could get over this, that where they would have the courage in Hollywood to realize that if a picture is ethnic, truly ethnic, it's going to be more interesting.
Well, you know, there is a great deal of screen time and detail devoted to the Japanese-American characters, and the Dennis Quaid character is off-screen a lot of the time, so I don't think that it's always seen through his eyes. Now, I'm interested in this issue of why we always have the white character, for example, the white leader of the black soldiers in Glory, as the person you see the story through. And yet, looking at this movie for a second time, I realized what Alan Parker was doing, because the white character, as you probably remember, is a militant left-wing labor leader who has had to change his name and move from one coast to the other and go underground because of some violence he's been involved in. Throughout the movie, the theme that both sides keep hammering on is, I'm an American. The Japanese Americans say, we're Americans. This communist organizer says, I'm an American. The Constitution says that I can picket. The Constitution says that I can strike. And on both sides, and then they have a child. And in the key scene in the movie, that little Santa Claus won't let that child sit on his lap. So I ain't talking to no Jap. And Dennis Quaid says, this is my child. She's an American. And so that's what the movie is about, the notion that in this country, all kinds of people are here together and nobody can point a finger at anybody else and say they're not an American. That's why I think it's okay to have the white character in this movie.
Well, it's a nice speech, and you're right, except that as this picture plays out, I felt that the element of their romance as sort of relief from the real issues of what was going on seemed really laid on. And that's, I'm not talking about his political problems, I'm talking about the romance. And so it's sweet what's being sacrificed, a sweet little romance. Well, there were these other families that were being sacrificed too, and that's where I think the focus is off.
But it's not. It's about the whole story about the father and how he finally wastes away and dies, and about the son who goes nuts and so forth. There's a lot in the movie I think you're passing over. Mia